Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to F1 Manager. This is episode 33. We have a back-to-back, and this time it's going to be Canada, so to Montreal for this one. So only a few days in between, but we do have some things going on this week. First off, Porsche with another upgrade point, and that's going to bring his reactions all the way up to a 70, which gives him a 75 overall now. It's about time. Those reactions are getting better and better. His lap times are getting definitely closer to Albon here of late. We're just before the end of our next period till we get the wind tunnel, all of that time back and reset. And so we've got just that last little bit. So we're going to get a small chassis upgrade on the way. It's going to take just over a month to do. Low cost, but of course it's going to cost a bit to replace the chassis with a new one for what is ultimately a pretty small upgrade. There's chance that what I may end up doing with this one as a cost-cutting measure. So we might do the design, which will take that month, and then produce one. And then take that one and redesign another upgrade with a bit more time, a bit more effort into it to make a more significant upgrade, and then mass produce that one. That should save us a bit of money, and we won't necessarily miss not having this new part ending up on the car itself and just being used as a bit of a segue to an even better version of the chassis. Last season, Montreal was the first time we were truly competitive. The race prior, was good for us. We had definitely finally gotten competitive, and for the first time weren't just battling the Aston Martins, but battling with other cars. But then each driver had those issues. One DNF'd, one ended up that lap down. So it didn't go as well as we had hoped, but we were competing. This was the first time that we were competing and pushing ahead of some cars. With the 11th and 14th for Albon and Porsche, we'll definitely be hoping to do better this time. But how does the track actually look? This was really following kind of the first wave of upgrades that we had on the car last year. And, looking at the track, you're looking at a lot of medium speed sectors and a lot of straight sections. Only one slow section, and that's your Wall of Champions. No, that's not even your Wall of Champions. Wall of Champions, I guess, is medium fast, because you do come into it attacking pretty hard. It's the other chicane before the hairpin that is there. I'm a little surprised that you're calling the hairpin a medium section, as you gotta slow down a lot for that. But hey, whatever. I think this is a track we can do fairly well at. Medium speed is not necessarily our strength at this point, as high speed is a bit more so, but without too many slow sections, I think this is a track we should definitely do better on. And let's see if we can compete for the first time with a dry Sunday, rainy weekend prior to that. But if Sunday is dry, can this be kind of that first time where we get into the points proper without something crazy helping us out to get up there? For now, we've been scoring points when the tracks have been wet and just getting the strategy right. We've had multiple 11th place finishes in the dry. I'm definitely hoping for a top 10 this time.
Formula One is back in Montreal. Let's hope it's not going to be Groundhog Day. The local rodents have disrupted more than one race day here in the past. The Canadian Grand Prix is ready to kick off, and the only drama on the tracks we want to see is the best drivers in the world battling it out for a place on that podium. Gilles Villeneuve is a quick, free-flowing circuit in parts, with a stop-start aspect thrown in for good measure around the chicanes and hairpin bends. Medium-speed downforce will play a large part in avoiding the Wall of Champions and ensuring success at this iconic track. The season is about halfway through, and it makes me wonder what else is in store for the teams. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get this underway.
I don't know what would compel you to call groundhogs rodents, but maybe that is what they are classified as. But for me, groundhogs are very much responsible for one of the greatest comedies of all time, and therefore they're okay by me. End of practice, Porsche maxed out 100% across the board for the, I think, first time that we've had all three at exactly 100%. In the case of Albin, track acclimatization didn't even get to that 2/3 point, which is disappointing. Car parts knowledge, he's got a new rear wing on that we only had one of, so Porsche does not have that rear wing, so Albin's going to have potentially a pace advantage, and his setup confidence at 96% is very good, but definitely not all the way there yet. So performance bonus wise, he is missing a couple points. That is going to help Porsche close in on Albin a little bit, but again, with the new rear wing, you'd figure that's going to push Albin back that other direction slightly and have his normal, 2/10, 1.5 tenths gap over Porsche. But let's see what the drivers can do. I never tried a lap in earnest during practice, so we were definitely off whatever the potential pace could be. Now, while the race should be dry, qualifying could be wet. FP3 was dry throughout, and there was rain predicted. This could help us with a higher grid order, at least. Take that heading into a dry race. Start of FP1, and the track is wet right now. It's not quite wet conditions. It's just inside intermediate. And while it's raining, the track is drying out a little bit. So that means the track is going to get faster. So for now, we're going to hold up and watch as it does get faster. We have similar conditions coming in 4 minutes, but right now, as the track is drying, we probably want to get out just before we switch over, because that could get drier or wetter at that point. But at this stage, at least for the next 4 minutes, it's going to be slowly drying out, which means at least for the next little while, we want to hold off as conditions are going to improve. Now 3 minutes till we get a changeover here, and we'll want to get out, I'd say probably now, to get that first banker lap in. So let's get Porsche going, and then Albin just behind him, and we've got a Red Bull on the way out, but otherwise we should have some clean air at least ahead of us, as these guys are all just exiting as well. None of them will be in our way. And that Red Bull's still coming hard and fast, so it looks like he is on his flying lap. So that's the unfortunate thing on that one. And actually, the conditions are already, looks like they've just about leveled off here for the time being, as here comes that Red Bull behind Albin. Albin does not impact the Red Bull. He goes by cleanly. And as we come around the hairpin, we'll be on the straight here in a moment with Porsche. But the big thing is what's going to happen following his lap. We're not in his way, but will he be in our way? Because he's about to finish his lap. And then he's going to slow down just as we're speeding up. We're coming up right on him already. Okay, so far so good. And that's one pass without getting held up. We'll watch with Albin now. Okay, starting to close up on him now. Please don't do it during the hairpin. Not during the hairpin. Not during the hair... Oh, wow. Well, there's Albin's lap compromised massively, and heavier rain is coming. Heavier rain is coming. Albin needs to get immediately back out, as we know that lap has been compromised greatly. Yeah, much slower, 7/10 slower than Porsche, which means we lost nearly a second on that one. We're going to have to get him back in soon, as it does look like track condition is going to worsen significantly. The only good thing is that so far, only 8 drivers have gotten a lap in to this stage, and the conditions are about to get worse. So if anything, let's have those conditions get worse sooner rather than later, and not let Albin get a second run in, because if everybody else is massively slower, then that's tracks and conditions. We want to go out quickly with Albin. Porsche, his time's good. He's not going anywhere, even though he was half a second slower than Stroll in the Aston Martin. So either they are just that quick, or he was also held up, just to a lesser extent. For now, track's still damp and actually drier than what it was. Now P10, P11, and here you go. The rain has picked up right as Albin is starting his lap. This is going to greatly slow down times here. Hamilton gets his end, goes fastest, but that's because he's in a fast car, and it was only just at the end of his lap, and we're full wet conditions, full wet conditions. It's not going to be a better time, so we're just going to call Albin in. Cancel the lap. And there you go. You can see Sonoda. Right now it's P12, P13. That might be enough. Even Verstappen, right on the edge. He's nearly going to miss out. Oh, Russell, Vettel, Sainz, Zhou, and Alonso will miss out. These conditions are not going to improve with just 3.5 minutes. Those 5 are out. Verstappen so very nearly, but he just escapes. That's everybody out except for us, but nobody's going to improve their time except for maybe the bottom 3. Oh, they do. Verstappen and Sainz. Okay, they did, but not better. They just had alternate times to what they had compared to each other. So you had a little mini shootout between these 7 cars. Verstappen and Sainz, the 2 with the best times. Russell gets bumped out. Vettel, Sonoda, Zhou, and Alonso. Huge mistake there for the Mercedes. Well, really all 7 of them. 2 of them very lucky to get out as they waited much too long. Drive for Q2, and we get our run in cleanly. Nobody's going to be in our way. So what sort of times can we put in? Pourchaire, less than a tenth behind, about 6/100ths behind Albin. So far we are off pace of everybody else, and I have a feeling that might be just kind of right where we end up. Even the Aston Martins are more than half a second faster than we are. Gasly, 10. Aston Martin's good here. Medium speed corners. I thought low speed was their strength, but it looks like they've improved their medium speed of late, and we are just off pace compared to everybody else. We're not going to waste our time. Track conditions are about to get worse, and we're just off pace. So let it be. Save the tires. It is what it is. We'll start from P14, P15, which is a good little boost starting grid-wise.
Here we are, folks. We're back for another day of scintillating F1 action. It's race day.
Williams had a good performance in qualifying. Now they'll be eager to demonstrate that they can have an even better race. Alfa Romeo managed to meet expectations during qualifying, and if they can keep this up, they'll have a good race ahead of them. And the race will be taking place under blue skies. That means the teams should be able to apply their strategies without any added complications.
But don't forget, there's always excitement in Montreal, and the odds are that this will be another Grand Prix to remember.
Total brain fart moment, and very much feel the idiot. I pulled a Ferrari, huge blunder in terms of strategy, and that blunder being I forgot to change from the practice parts to the race parts before qualifying. And because we're in Parc Fermé, switching that out means we're going to start from the back of the grid. So the bonus we got for a good Q1, the reason why we were so far off the pace of Aston Martin was we had the garbage parts on the car that were in really, really bad shape. So we would have been losing probably 0.8 of a second per lap easily. So I'd rather start from the back and have a better shot at the race, which means switching that strategy to going along and being faster as the race goes on, knowing that we're going to be kind of caught up in traffic and hopefully faster than some of the cars in front of us, besides, like, say, Russell in that Mercedes, who's obviously way out of position. Let's see how well we can make our way through the grid. I think lessening the fuel load could be a good thing for us, allow us to push a little harder later on. So I'll take off 1 lap worth, but not 2, because we've got to try to keep pace early on, and that may involve pushing some, but I have a feeling we're going to be kind of patiently waiting, biding our time, and pushing towards the end of the race and seeing what sort of ground we can make up.
As the sun continues to shine, it seems like nothing can dampen the mood of excitement here at the track. Here we have Alexander Albon. With their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. And looking at the second Williams car. They're starting in the bottom half of the grid today, so there's a lot of cars between them and the podium. The teams are ready to go. This is it. We're moments away now at the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Race underway, and we did not start from the very back, so that really means one of two things. Either it didn't change the parts for us, or and we're going to just be super slow, or it was a bug and it didn't push us to the back. I mean, the reality, what it should be, is we should have been starting from pit lane, but in the game, it just bumps you to the back. So P13, P15, no warnings. Yeah.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
It's one of the key reasons why we didn't beat, like, say, the Aston Martins, where Albon's already gone past both here on the opening lap. As Albon completes that move and can already just about settle down here. I think we can go neutral right off the bat here, save that ERS for later, and then get up behind that McLaren a bit tighter.
A new position, just gained by Williams.
Since we are a little light on the fuel, let's
just
go ahead and start going neutral from there.
Okay, copy.
Continue to push on for now. Soon we'll check on seeing how everybody else is looking. Let's check with Corsair here. Corsair not yet able to get past the Aston Martins. And with Russell behind us, I think at some point we're going to have to just let Russell go, as our race is very much not with him. And I could see part of the problem here. Schumacher's on the softs. We're on the hard. Making that pass is easier said than done. Now, in Albon's case, he kind of did it off the line. Ooh, already, Albon is challenging Ricardo there. And we've gotten to the outside, and as you go through the second part of the chicane, we've got a real shot here with Corsair to complete that pass. Stroll will be an easier overtake as he's on the medium. Good. But we get forced out. We get forced out as Stroll goes so slow entering the hairpin that we had to back out of it, as Schumacher ends up passing both cars. Albon has gotten around Ricardo. Albon's going to have to push on there to stay within DRS range of Magnussen ahead, and Corsair having another look now to the outside of Stroll once again. And I think he's just about completed it there. No, he decides to stay wide and eventually forces his way on through, but really opened up that gap, so he's going to have to push on a little bit harder, but we're going to go neutral. We're not going to use the ERS for that. And Albon, meanwhile, 1.1, push on.
Okay, reduce lift and coast. Yeah.
0.994, but I think he just missed the DRS on that one. It's allowing Ricardo to get back up on him, and they are side by side. Can he stay ahead? This battling, of course, is now costing him time, as he was nearly there, and now he's not. And that's going to put him behind Ricardo, but Ricardo's going to be quite vulnerable. 0.8 of a second.
Increase lifting coast.
Yep, copy.
Okay, we'll have DRS for now, that's fine. Meanwhile, with Corsair all over the back of Schumacher. Stroll already down to P17, Vettel and Russell both getting by. Heading into turn one. Thought we were going to have a look to the inside there. We do not. We just stay all over the back end. That soft compound, that's making it difficult to get that overtake on Schumacher. We have significantly more pace, but we just can't utilize it. That double drop. Sector 1, yellow. Multiple cars have
It's
crashed.
a collision. Let's have a look. Now just take a look at the McLaren.
That is Norris, along with one of the Alpines.
That's the contact
Oh.
there. Oh, there's
Alpine
chaos
wiped them
on the
out.
track.
Double crash. Ocon with the penalty. And that brings us up to P10, P13. We are riding on board with Corsair, who's still struggling to get on through. Norris going a bit slow, but rolling again after that hit. He is holding things up. Schumacher now has DRS, making it that much harder to make a pass on him. But Schumacher, Norris does not pit. Norris continues on, but he's clearly off the pace. Share, we are on neutral, aren't we? Why are you down at 12%? Okay, going around the damaged McLaren. Can we complete the overtake here? I think we have a position to do so, and we do. Okay, again, we continue on with our push to get past Schumacher. Schumacher 1.4 down. Albon 1.8 behind Ricardo now.
And there's an overtake.
Sure
from
what happened with that one. Finally having a look to the outside with DRS. This should be a move complete, and is quite easily over Schumacher that time. Okay, continue to be aggressive, but back off on the fuel.
We want to leave Courtney's.
And a new position just gained by Williams.
A little more push should get us within range on Albon. Get DRS.
Safety car. Safety car.
Safety car. Safety
And
car.
respect the delta.
I think it's way too early to pit, so we're going to stay out.
Let's see what happened
Ooh,
there.
it was Ricardo.
Daniel
It's
Ricciardo
going to be another
involved
position
here.
for us. The hairpin locks up,
They've
runs
lost
wide.
control, and there's the crash.
What? Come on, game. Lock up, run
The
wide.
team are really
carry
disappointed
on.
with that.
That
Let's
hairpin
hope
has
it
so
doesn't
much
set them
runoff.
back too badly.
It's really hard to go into the wall there unless you are in the wet and sliding into the wall. So that's P9 and P10 for now for us. This will close us right back up. Magnussen is a car we can definitely keep up with and challenge. His front six are going to be hard to catch, but we can definitely run with Gasly and Magnussen. And meanwhile, Russell somehow is back down in P14. He only just started making his way through the grid. And Alonso, way down in P18, is well off for him. Alright, as we get the race back underway, we're not driving too aggressively here, though it looks like Porsche is going to make a pass on Albon, swapping places there, but didn't want to go too aggressive on this restart. 1, we're still light on fuel. 2, we had not fully recovered on the ERS for Porsche. It was a pretty quick safety car, so we resume racing here on lap number 8. The good news is we are in that DRS train now with Magnussen. Verstappen is the race leader, Sainz, Leclerc, and then Perez and Hamilton. Perez was actually fastest through 2 out of 3 practice sessions, or all 3 practice sessions. So for him, a little disappointing that he is only running in P4 right now. Hamilton and Bottas will easily keep up, and for now, we've got one big DRS train as Guan Yu Zhou, the only one slow enough to lose. And we've got a lockup. Sector 1, and there was somebody off to the side there. It was Hamilton, all the way down to last place, so from 5th to last with the lockup there at turn 1, a couple laps after going green. Porsche, not quite the pace that Albon has, and he is more than a second behind. Going to have to push on a little bit to get in that DRS range. Norris 1.2 behind, so he's losing DRS range. This could be really good for our race, but at 1.5 behind. Oh, Pourchaire just blocked Albin. Massive block. I was kind of hoping Albin was going to go through. We do still get DRS. But Pourchaire does not. So Pourchaire has lost DRS on those guys in front of us. Oh, no. Pourchaire I want to push on. Albin, who's in second, that we want to ease off on. Same car, and the slightly faster driver should have an easy enough time keeping up. Vettel has passed Norris, but he's just over that 1 second behind. And now inside that 1 second. Vettel is definitely a bit faster than us. It looks like we're going to be holding up a pretty big train of cars here shortly. Another crash here. And safety car is coming out again.
There's been contact and several cars involved. Here's the replay.
There we go.
Watch this.
This is behind us. Norris nailed from behind by the Aston Martin. Looks like Norris might be out of this race from that one. Norris and Ricciardo both out of the race, by the way. And Schumacher picks up the penalty. Alright, and the race resumes here on lap 15. 2 safety cars already, 2 McLarens out of the race, so that's one of our direct competitors out. And right now, both cars in the points for the time being. Russell is now all the way up to P10, just behind us, though. So I figure we'll drift back 1 position here at some point. But if we could finish P9, P10, that would be great. If we can get Magnussen before the end and stay right about where we're at, P8, P9. If we can keep everybody else behind us, and that would be perfect scenario. Hamilton, all the way back P17 after his minor mistake. And then having to wait for that whole train to go by before he could resume, is going to make his way through the grid, but it's going to be difficult for him to make his way through the grid. It's a lot of positions to try to cover. Okay, Albin, let's go ahead and back off as we are following closely behind our teammate. This time, Pourchaire keeping up a bit easier. Stay in DRS range. As Magnussen is the one who's losing DRS.
DRS is enabled.
As DRS is now enabled. Pourchaire, push for a little bit just to make sure you're close with DRS. Sector 1, yellow flag.
They've lost control and
Perez spins on turn 6. That's going to knock him all the way down to last place. And that's DRS for both of our cars. And Magnussen without it, 2.5 seconds down, is going to be very easy to keep up with. We can also back off there. Let's go ahead and check on those strategies. We still haven't really looked at what we have in store for us. So Sainz, Magnussen, and Vettel all out on the soft compound, have yet to pit. Schumacher has, but he is the only one. And Ocon. Was Ocon pit? Did Ocon pit because of his crash? Right, he was the one who hit. Yes, yeah, he was the one who took out Ricciardo earlier. So those two have pit. They are on the hard compound. Probably not able to go the distance at this point. And here you go, the first cars into the pits. Zhou and Russell not changing strategies. And Magnussen drops down the order. Pourchaire, Albin, both getting past. And that's P6 and P7.
By Williams.
So a double overtake there for our team. And Magnussen down to 54%. Chances are he's going to lose some pace here. Vettel as well. 2 guys on the softs. they're going to be pitting and going backwards, and that's going to leave a big hole. However, Bottas has definitely gotten away from us, so there's going to be a gap here. But Sainz into the pits, so Magnussen and Vettel are probably about to pit here soon. That's going to have our two cars running alone for a while, as Albon has gone past Pourchaire up into P5, and that's probably good, as he's going to ultimately have a bit better pace, but he's going to help tow Pourchaire around. For the moment, P5, P6, as they start to battle each other. Not ideal on that part, other than the experience gain. Every time you're swapping positions, they are picking up experience, and I want that. I want that. It's just, you got that trade-off of they're going to lose a little bit of pace. Magnussen and Vettel into the pits. We are now the front runners on the hard compound. Which means unless Verstappen really drives away from us at some point here. What the heck is that? Oh, that's Ocon. Ocon just went around Pourchaire. Ocon will pit at some point, and Verstappen pits now. We were that close to getting ourselves in that, and these guys are pitting early, or at least in the case of Verstappen. That looks like he's maybe opting for the two-stopper. Albon re-overtakes Ocon. He may yet have that lead at some point. P4, P6 for the moment. Gasly and Bottas both into the pits. We'll be in the podium places here in a moment. Verstappen comes out ahead of Pourchaire. Looks like he kind of blocked him on pit exit, actually. No surprise there. Yellow flag, sector 2. And Leclerc enters into the pits. Hamilton with another spin. The guy spins more times in over the course of 3 races than he does in real life over the course of 3 seasons. He has maybe 2 mistakes a year in real life, and here in game he gets that in one race. Really harsh on what they do there. Anyway, Pourchaire P7, but Albon in the race lead. Now, of course, this is situational. It is very much situational. We are not the fastest, and just like that, we get a double overtake and drop 2 positions to P3 as Verstappen comes through. And Ocon with that DRS advantage as Verstappen now making his way past. As long as we can stay with Ocon, I don't mind. Sainz, Leclerc, Verstappen all coming. Our race is not with them. Those guys have significantly more pace than we do. But if we can hang with Ocon, we could still very much be racing with him at the end of this race. Schumacher all the way up in 6th. Schumacher in P6, even though he was last place, had a penalty, and barely caught up to the field before we went green after the safety car. But he will have to pit again as well, and he's really just not going to quite have the pace. Pourchaire gets around Schumacher, though, so that's up to P6 for him. I don't know how Schumacher had gotten around him when there was so many positions in between those two. Where did Schumacher even come from when Pourchaire's been up towards the front throughout? You can see Pourchaire is not in this window. He's a ways back there. Anyway, that is the entire grid on the hard compound right now. And you're looking at a lot of guys good to go till the end of the race. What we don't need now is more safety cars. A virtual safety car when it's time for us to pit, well, we're in our pit window, would be perfect. But we do not want a full safety car, because as the field is spread out, this is that time. We don't want the field bunching back up now that everybody has pit. So Schumacher will likely have to pit again, and then Pourchaire, Albon, and Ocon, and that's it. That is it. So if we can somehow hang with this group and ride with them for a while yet, this would be the ideal scenario for Albon. Pourchaire realistically, we kind of want him to hold up the field. He's 5.5 seconds behind this group and holding up a couple drivers. And then, yeah, you have gaps back there. Sainz starting to make his way past. That's down to P4.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
Ocon has also been passed, so Ocon down to P3. That's the main one, as long as we hang with Ocon. We lost a lot of ground there pretty fast. Sainz is going to pull away. Sector 1, yellow flag, and that is another car going backwards
Seems
again.
to have been a lockup.
It's Russell. In my playthrough, at least, the Mercedes is the most prone to lockups and spins of any of the teams. Outside of,
And
like,
there's an overtake
Stroll.
from Williams.
As we go past Ocon there. Ocon, without that DRS, off the pace. So we get on by. But now we are going to be the ones without DRS. At some point, Leclerc is going to be getting by and hopefully can pull us along for a little while. Ocon lost Sainz immediately after Sainz passed him. Meanwhile, Porsche holding up a train behind him. 4-car train for the time being. But as long as they are pulling away from Guan Yu Zhou, that's a good thing. And as long as this grid continues to stretch here on lap 33.
That's a
Now
good
for us, pit
overtake
window
for
wise,
Alpine.
we could end up going all the way to the soft compound later, as Leclerc has gone past Albon and is already having a look to the outside of Ocon. And it looks like he will complete the move. Has not done so yet, but I think he's got him right there, and he does. This time around, though, we stay much, much closer. And Ocon gets right back past with the DRS there. So Leclerc's going to have another go. Here with DRS, he's going to be a lot faster. Really surprised he didn't get him that time. He got him that time, though.
Aston Martin with a great play there. They've moved up a place.
Schumacher overtaking Porsche. Porsche down to P9. Bottas also going past, so Porsche drops 2 positions there. Halfway through the race, lap 36 of 70. And we are having a very strong showing at the moment in P5, P9, but we are the only cars who have yet to pit. I expect 2 others to pit as well. As long as Albon can hang on here, we'll be in really good shape. Porsche, meanwhile, though, losing Schumacher a little bit there, which is disappointing, as he really needs to hang on a bit better than that. Let's go ahead and check in with Porsche. Never mind on that losing Schumacher thing. Down the straightaway, he caught right back up to him. Something that I'm trying to keep in mind right now is the possibility of really stretching and going quite a bit later. As our tire wear comes down, and having the possibility of softs making it to the end instead of having to go to the mediums. Those safety cars have helped us out with that quite a bit. But as we are now entering the pit window, a virtual safety car, any VSC from here, is going to be an automatic pit for us, especially with the gap between the 2 cars. I would be happy to double stack in that situation. Sainz has spun, so that's going to knock him down the order, and that brings us back up to P4 and P8 for the time being. Anyway, you have the Wall of Champions with the chicane here, and then you have turn 1 into turn 2. Now, pit road is straight on and then straight on. So those double sets of turns slow the field up a little bit, meaning you lose a little less time here than you would at some of the other tracks. Anyway, 10 seconds down, so I'm going to slow this down here for a second, thinking out loud. In the case of Albon, anyway, Porsche, 8 seconds further back, this is going to be more costly, but let's say you lose about 23 seconds here. I would estimate somewhere in that. Look where 23 seconds puts us. All the way to the back of the field. And only 2 other guys around us. Ocon. No, not optimal pit stop. Not the optimal time. So a VSC cutting that down to about 13 seconds.
All eyes
Haas in
on
the Alpha
Kevin
Tauri.
Magnussen here.
Magnussen, one of those. But from behind, same
there's
tight
the
hairpin,
collision.
heavy braking zone. More mistakes happen there than anywhere else. Penalty picked up for Magnussen. Vettel also with penalty. They both pick up a penalty with each other. That doesn't make much sense. Vettel's the one he hit. But we are green flag racing, so it's good. Kind of pushes those 2 competitors back down the grid. It's going to help our position later on, but once we do pit, but this is definitely not our time to pit now. Vettel was holding up Russell and Hamilton there for a little bit. They both lose about 5 seconds before eventually getting past Vettel, and now they're trying to hold up Alonso. Schumacher and Ocon both need to pit as well, so I think we can beat those guys. So it looks like we still got a good chance at points today, but
Red Bull moved up.
don't take the fact that we're running in P3 right now as something too serious, as Gasly has caught all the way up now. Porsche overtakes Schumacher. He might have to pit sooner, as he's further back. And down to 38% for that matter. I think Albon's going to be able to hang on a bit longer. Somewhere between the tire wear and the overall pace advantage. That Albon's clearly going around the track faster. 9-second gap. It was an 8-second gap quite a few laps ago, though, so it's not like it's going out rapidly. Alright, with Porsche, we're going to go aggressive. Try to use these last couple laps worth of fuel. Or last couple laps worth on these tires. Yellow flag, sector 1. .7. Good stop. You see 25 seconds on pit road. But is that 19 seconds worth of time that we're actually stopped? Okay, standard. And we come out just behind.
Back off.
Push. We want to make sure we stay within 1 second of these guys. Follow Magnussen, Hamilton, Russell. So Hamilton and Russell did finally get past Magnussen. P14 that we came out in. Magnussen with a penalty. That easily puts us ahead of him to P13. That's not a bad place to be. Perez has got around Albon. Wow, where did Perez come from? He was way behind us. He's really made his way forward. Ooh, there you go. There's already making our way around Magnussen. And go ahead and go balanced. And we are on a faster compound. We might be able to beat the Mercedes.
And a new position.
Wouldn't that be something?
Just gained by Williams.
Alright, back in with Albon. Albon running P6, 36%. We will have to pit here at some point. I think we might be able to give it one more lap. As we are falling off. Oh my gosh, we are falling off big time. It's time to pit now.
Can push through all corners.
Okay.
We're dropping back, so let's do it. Let's pit.
Okay, box.
Okay, box.
Yeah. Pace fell off. We are 7 seconds behind. Six seconds behind Ocon all of a sudden. We were right behind him. Perez goes by. That all happened in about 2 laps there.
tyres haven't really coming down.
Okay.
Okay. Pushing on
Right,
this
push.
in lap and
Yep,
into that
copy.
next out lap
Okay,
as
reduce
Bottas
lift
goes
and
by.
coast. Okay, copy.
Pourchaire has gone around Hamilton, by the way, without pushing. He's up into P12. .7 for the stop for Albin.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
And Pourchaire has gone around Russell into P11. Albin comes out in P10. Okay, we'll go aggressive on the out lap. This thinks we're not going to make it. That's because we're going on the attack. The attack's not going to make it. So dropping to, wow, moderately overheating. You've done like 2 corners. 2 quarters and he's overheating. Cannot push on these tires to make it to the end. You know that. So Albin, 5 seconds ahead of Pourchaire. Tires are what, 1 lap fresher? And Schumacher just 5 seconds away ahead of us. I think we can absolutely catch and pass Schumacher. Hopefully Pourchaire can as well. He's 10 seconds behind. But he has pulled away. Look at that. He has pulled away from Mercedes on their hard compounds. Now checking back in as Pourchaire went purple in Sector 1. Pourchaire purple in Sector 1. Being on the soft compound, look how much faster we are than everybody else around us. These guys are putting in 116s, but we're getting some 115s here. Okay, 50, 56, 57. There's your 43. Definitely going to have to pit. Not going to make it 16 laps on that. Or they're just going to lose an absolute ton of pace. But these guys are a bit off as well, so we've got a great chance. Magnussen. Wow, look how slow Magnussen is right now. He's going backwards really fast. Sonoda with the lockup. Pourchaire. Ocon into the pits. Pourchaire has caught Schumacher. Let's see if Pourchaire comes out ahead of Ocon. I think we're going to easily have him with Albin. Yes, Albin's already ahead. And we've caught Schumacher. And Ocon just came out ahead of us. Ocon is still ahead of us. He's 3 seconds behind Albin. So Albin 3 seconds ahead of Ocon. If we hadn't lost 5 seconds there just before we pit, I think we would have been that much further ahead. But it looks like Pourchaire at least should have Schumacher probably this lap. He's all over the back end of him. Now it's a 5.5 second gap to Bottas. I'm not sure if we're going to quite get up on him, but we are definitely going faster than these guys. Last lap, 2 seconds. We are 1 to 2 seconds a lap faster than those in front of us. And Bottas, Gasly are definitely off the pace a little bit compared to the front 3. Ocon, similar pace to us, but about 0.3 slower. Pourchaire. Ocon's already gotten past Sainz. Can Pourchaire catch him? He doesn't have that great of a pace advantage. We only have a little bit of spare fuel. But coming out of that chicane, we're going to push. The hairpin. Use the straight. Zocon's now 1.2 behind, and we've nearly caught Bottas. So this will help us potentially get ahead of Bottas, but also to hold off Ocon that little bit longer. Porsche still 5 seconds behind Sainz, so I don't think he's in for a battle of any kind. We're going to try to settle for P9. Guan Yu Zhou, though, coming just 2.5 seconds behind him. And then we're slowly catching Gasly, which is bringing us right back up where we were. Gasly is not pit at all, but we've been that much faster that Gasly, who we were with, as Albon has gone past.
And there's an overtake
Porsche
from
going
Williams.
aggressive. Back up into P9 for him. He's gone around Zhou. And we have caught up to Gasly. We have a shot at P4 here with a couple laps to go. Verstappen begins the last lap. Let's go with the overtake.
To use
Go
the
with
overtake.
push just for a moment. Just for this straight.
Okay,
And we're
reduce
past
lift and
Gasly.
coast.
We're into P4.
Yes. Good job, good job.
Into P4. There's a car ahead, but that is not for position. We are 5 seconds behind. That's an Aston Martin.
And this is the last
Okay,
lap.
save that for defend. Back to balanced. Porsche up to P8. He got around Sainz. He passed Sainz. He caught and passed Sainz. Okay. Use defend. So Porsche up into P8. Final lap.
Go push.
On the attack.
Copy.
Push. We don't have the fuel to do anything.
And we've got push.
3.7 behind Perez for a potential podium. I don't think we're going to get there, but we are running P4 in the dry. Zero wet whatsoever. Final straight.
Max Verstappen
Full
over
deploy.
the finish line. and
Verstappen has
today's
claimed the win.
winner.
Leclerc claims P2.
Yep, okay.
And that is going to be a P4 for Albon.
So that's the flag.
And here is Porsche hanging on to P8.
You guys did it when it counts. Thank you.
Yeah, copy. Nice job. Nice job.
And he will keep it. He will keep it ahead of Guan Yu Zhou. Wow. What a run from the team there. Really showing that progress, but so much of that came down to the fact that safety car. Adapting our strategy, knowing that we could run longer, and instead of going to the mediums, go to the softs. And because we went to the softs, oh, we were lightning fast. We were about 2 seconds a lap faster than everybody else there for that last 20 laps. And as a result, we gained just loads and loads of time. Ocon got around Gasly in the end as well. He gets P5, Gasly P6, but that is a P4 for us. Tremendous run. That is a lot
What a
of valuable
pleasure it
points
was
for
to
us.
watch Alex Albon
But
on
our
the
direct
track.
competitor
And an amazing
in
result
terms
to
of
match.
the constructors is Alpine, and both of their cars just behind us. I think we'll ultimately have had more points than we will get in this one. And we only had about a 3-point advantage, so we
Williams
might
have
actually
got to be happy
drop
with
a
their
place
results
here.
here.
But
This was
it's going to
good
open
work.
up a huge gap
There's
over the
definitely
following
cause
teams
for
behind.
celebration here.
George Russell in P11, who did the same thing. He pit late, came flying back through. He got past everybody, but he pit a little too late for it to matter. He did get the fastest lap. No bonus, though, as he finished outside of the top 10. Got to be in the top 10 to get that fastest lap bonus. So Albon, P4, Porsche P8. What a fantastic run. We did benefit from a glitch, but at the same time, that glitch was totally on me. I think while we both benefited from getting that change of parts and not getting a penalty for it after being in Parc Fermé, though they were parts that have been used. None of them were brand new. They were used parts. They were just the correct parts in the car. You still can't swap that out when we did, and we should have gotten a penalty for it. But I can see both sides to that argument on why the game didn't catch it anyway. If they were brand new parts, we would have been penalized and gone to the back. But anyway, it both helped and hurt. It hurt because we would have been better. We would have qualified anyway, at least ahead of the Aston Martins, because they both made it to that Q2. Right? I mean, you could see where they started, P14, P12. We would have been ahead of them in qualifying, started a couple spots higher than we did. And, you never know what that's going to do positionally. Nearly got Perez at the end. I mean, that's phenomenal. Porsche, 11 seconds behind his teammate at the end of that thing. But fantastic run. 4 points, 12 points, 16 in this race, and did so in the dry. That's the big thing. Albon, P8 in the standings, 5 points behind Russell. Porsche, P12. And yes, as I suspected, Alpine was 1 point behind us. They got 2 points more than we did today. And so even though we had a phenomenal race, we actually fell a position in the constructors. However, I think we can realistically look at P6. Alpine is a much better car than what we have that we are just about keeping up with. Alfa Romeo is a much better car that we aren't really keeping up with, but they are occasionally having bad races. Same with the Mercedes. And that's what's helping us get into the points. But we are, I think, consistently on most tracks going to be able to beat McLaren, AlphaTauri, Haas, and Aston Martin. On the right track, on the right day, we can beat the Alpines. Today we did and didn't manage to do that. They belong ahead of us, but who knows with car upgrades what we could do in the second half, as I think we can maybe catch up to them. So maybe 5th place can be in order by the end of the season. For now, I'm very happy with 6th. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.